said, I mean, there's no one like me. Trying deep down, you try. What's up? It's Paris Hart, and you're tuning into another episode of the Love of It podcast. Today, we have a really special guest. He's a producer and a DJ from Sicily. He's known to be one of the most renowned selectors in the London house scene today. Today, we have Mddiction.
Oh man, thanks for having me on the show. Love it.
Thanks for being a part of it. So first things first, how did you get your name?
How did I get my name? That's a very good question. Basically, Mddiction started during lockdown. Mddiction is a new, project, an artist project. Like 30 years, I had several alias, and I've been like releasing music under different names. But as you grow up, you get better. As in, in as like producer, as in like you get better production wise. So eventually I wanted to come up with something new, something that would like distinguish me from like, whatever I was doing back then. And yeah, so Mddiction was born.
Hey, that's what's up. So first things first, going to your previous aliases, what was it like actually saying, okay, I'm gonna get into music, this is what I want to do, and this is the career for me?
So basically I started when I was 13. So as a little kid, I self-taught myself how to DJ and how to make music at the same time. Uh, I I grew up like basically around music. My dad plays piano. So I think it's been influencing me a lot, 30 years. And so yeah, I didn't know what I was doing. I started making the first, demos, the first records, and eventually I started getting my first, record deals with little like local labels or yeah. And so yeah, so as you keep working on music, you get better eventually, and you start making more decent records.
But you touched on a part that I think a lot of the listeners should know is you really didn't have someone say, okay, like here's the gifts and here's the tools to get it. You were focused on getting it and really entering the music industry. So you yourself took it to like, okay, I'm going to teach myself this, I'm going to teach myself that, and I'm not going to worry or depend on other people. And just got to praise you for that, because a lot of people talk about, oh, I'm going to do this, but I need this to happen. And it's like, to be successful in this industry, you have to work for yourself. You have to grind and constantly work. And I just want to praise you for that.
Oh man, thank you.
Anytime. So when it comes down to actually working, which one do you prefer, performing or creating the music?
Uh, I would say a little bit of both. Like I love making music. It's very, awesome for me to be able to, create records, create melodies, uh, and so on. But at the same time, I feel like I need the crowd. As in, like, I love performing. I love, making people dance big time. So I would say 50-50 on for both.
Dang, how hard is it to perform? Because a lot of people don't understand you got to have that good crowd control, especially when you're up there DJing, especially when you're up there with the crowd. Being able to read the crowd isn't something that is an overnight, okay, I know how to do it. So how was it like really getting to that stage where you could control the whole crowd by yourself now?
Man, for me, it's more of a, like having fun with the people, like having fun. I don't see it like as, like something stressful, something like, oh shit, what if something goes wrong? What if the crowd, doesn't like that song? I would say I'm a good music selector. So I pretty much know what record eventually works and what record doesn't when I do my selection. And so yeah, like, I self-taught myself, started when I was 13. I started in a little town in Sicily called Trappeto, which is like, I think it's got like 2,000 people, which is crazy. And eventually, when I turned 18, I started like traveling to the UK, which is where I live right now. And ever since, it's been a long journey, man. Like fun, very fun. I get to play in different countries, as in like Spain, Germany, UK, Italy, and so on. And so yeah, it's been pretty awesome. Like
When you think of performing, is there any like performance that just you think about that, I was like, oh my God, that was the best performance I had. That the crowd was just crazy there.
I've had different situations actually, but I think one of the greatest sets I ever had was in Fabric, London, which is one of the most known clubs. And so for me to be able to play in that club, it was an honor, and the crowd like reacted really well. So that was very like satisfying, and so yeah, that probably that was one of the greatest sets I ever done
Hey, that's dope.
so far.
How would you say your environment really like helped mold you, or did it really help you kind of find your sound, or was it something that you ventured off and finding yourself? Like, was there a piece of London that, or a piece of the UK that you're thinking, wow, like I found this out here, this really really opened my eyes, or was there something back in Sicily that you were like, that really opened my eyes?
Well, so back in Sicily when I started, I was really into like EDM, which is like electronic dance music. And I was really like into it. And at that time, it was so big. Uh, as a matter of fact, some of my favorite artists were like David Guetta, Calvin Harris, and all these, big stars. So big up to them. But yeah, in 2015, I got to travel to Ibiza or Ibiza, whatever you want to pronounce it. So I got my first residency there,
Wow.
and basically I fell in love with house music, and ever since, like it's been a great journey. Like I fell in love with it, and also like I gotta say that the UK or London, whatever you wanna, it's got a really great scene, like a really underground scene, when it comes to house music. So yeah, like I think this country has been influencing me a lot as well.
Already you been performing, traveling all across the world, featured on BBC and Radio One. Like, you have all these accomplishments. So what is it like getting those solidifications of like, you know what, like all the hard work paid off and I got this, all the hard work paid off and I got this. And then really just how has that springboarded you to want to do more and just keep growing?
Man, I think I was first time that first time that one of my songs got played on BBC Radio One. I think I was like 16, man. I was still living in Italy, and all I was doing was like working on music and going to sleep, working on music and going to sleep. So back then, when I saw that one of my songs was played on BBC Radio One, for me it was like it was awesome. I was so happy, and probably that made me want to do more, if that makes sense. Like made me encourage me even more to hustle and eventually get out there and try to accomplish more stuff as well. So so yeah, man.
So what's your creative process like getting into it, or when you come into creating either your set or a song? What is that process like?
I have different ways, to be fair. I usually start with a bunch of chords. So I mostly work from home or like abroad or anywhere. I work from my laptop, so I make music on my laptop, so remotely. So yeah, I usually start with a bunch of chords, and then I start building up eventually an arrangement. Or what I really do usually is like I just create a little demo. So and then I send it out to like songwriters and singers and people around to see if they want to write something on top of it, and then some lyrics. So if they want to collaborate, and then eventually they send me back stems like like vocals, and then finish the song. But yeah, usually I start with like chords or melody. I start with a melody and then I'll build it up. And but yeah, that's it really.
Dang.
It's it's pretty fun. It's pretty fun. I love this, creative. I love being creative. I love to be able to, come up with a melody and then build a song from it. Like it's very nice.
Hey, it's one thing to be creative, but it's another when you're good at it and as good as you are at it. So big
Oh
ups,
man,
big ups to you. So,
appreciate it.
to our listeners
Thanks a
out there
lot.
right now, if you had to describe your sound to them, how would you describe your sound?
I would I would describe it pop dance, if that makes sense. A little like pop dance with a little bit with some like electronic elements as well. But yeah, I would literally say pop dance. I like to merge, like melodies, or I like to, combine vocals, like singing with, a dance record. So that's what I would, describe it as it.
But then everyone out there listening, I want to let you know, when you listen to Mddiction's music, you got to do it when you're outside having a good drive, when you're cleaning your house, and it's real feel good music. It's some music that you have to dance
Oh
every
man, thank you.
anytime.
Appreciate
Oh,
it.
when you first got into music into now, what artists have really inspired you, or really what elements of their music have inspired you?
I think David Guetta has been clearly like a big inspiration, and I think it's been like a big inspiration for a lot of people. So yeah, I would say David Guetta, and as I mentioned before, Calvin Harris is so talented. So it's been like 30 years. It's been like inspiring me as well. But I also like the Chainsmokers, although they do a different type of music than mine. But I love them. They're awesome. I love what they're doing. DJ Snake, is a really good producer as well. They've been literally inspiring my music so far.
Hey, and we spoke about the good things and the fun things about music. What's really the hardest obstacle that you have came into in making music?
The hardest is like to get signed. I would say that's the hardest part, because like nowadays everybody's like able to make music. A lot of there's like million of artists like around the world like producing music and releasing music every day. So like standing out, from all these people, I think that's the hardest part, where back in the days, even like creating music was like expensive. You needed a studio. You needed like, it was way tougher than nowadays right now. Now you got everything you want. You can literally make a whole song from your couch. So now what really matters is the product, basically. The product, and whoever is willing to, promote it and get it out there. So I would say labels as well. So getting a good deal, I think that's the toughest. When it comes to like being a DJ, I guess getting yourself out there is tough as well. Because of course there's like plenty of DJs out there. Everyone is a DJ. So how do you get to play in all the biggest clubs? How do you get to live upon music? How do you get to do it full time when there's so many different people that do that as well? So that's another tough, topic. But yeah, I guess, if you're really keen on something, if you really love what you're doing, you always find a way eventually. And it's been for me, like I've been doing this for over 10 years. So it's been a long journey. But eventually I can say that I made it somehow. I always dream of, being able to, live upon music, like being able to, like, like being a DJ, do this for a living. And thankfully I can say that, I accomplished that. So back then it seemed really impossible, but I did it. So I feel like everything is possible in life, man. You can be whoever you want. You can do whatever you want. You just gotta like really want it and put the work for it, and eventually you'll accomplish a lot of stuff for whatever you want to do. No matter, regardless if it's like being a producer, if it's like being an actor or anything else. I feel like we got the power to actually accomplish a lot. Sometimes we just make up excuses, but if you really work on something, you eventually get it. If you really work for it, you accomplish it. So yeah.
And I just want to touch up on that, because what I try telling all the artists trying to get in the industry is, when you first get in, you realize it's a huge pool of, there's singers, there's DJs, there's rappers, there's everyone that you could imagine you have to compete with. But the more you work at it, the more people around you that you see fall off. either someone wasn't taking it serious or someone didn't really perfect their flow. They were focused on their image on social media more. So if you just love creating, over time you're gonna realize, like, and be in a position like you are, of saying, hey, you know, like, I started off and there was millions of people, but now I'm living off of it. I don't know where they are, but I focused on my own grind and I really worked on my craft to make it where you are today.
I still got a lot to accomplish, and I still have, goals, to accomplish and things to accomplish. But I'm nowhere where I was before, so that's a good, sign. And yeah, I'm so grateful for it as well. Like, one thing though, I feel like you should surround yourself with a lot of decent people, like people that support you, people that understand you, and people that cheer you up all the time, no matter what.
How important would you say it is to have a support system and a group of people around you that are focused on the same goal, helping you do better and making sure that you're mentally where you have to be?
I think that's very important. That's very important. And going back to because I started traveling when I was 18. So until then I was living in Italy, in Sicily. So when I turned 18, I started like traveling. And eventually when I was 20, I moved to the UK, like definitely. Like, so when I moved to the UK, what I was doing was like I used to go to parties. I used to go to like clubs and try to like talk to DJs and people that were like or get promoters and try to get myself a set. And eventually I bumped into this guy. His name is Janino. Um, and he gave me a chance. So he got me on one of his gigs, and basically it all started from there. Like I got to play at this. I went to this gig that he gave me, so I played it. I played there, and then someone else saw me, and he was like, "Oh, actually, you know what? I wanna book you for something else." And you know how it is, like it all started from there. I kept getting bookings and stuff, and eventually I got to play in all the biggest clubs in London and so on. So yeah,
Hey,
big up to this guy. Big up to this guy for giving me the chance. To be fair, because he basically opened up the doors.
fact, sometimes you
And
only need one.
you don't need one, but also I guess you gotta like you gotta be good. Like people can give you whatever you want, but if you suck at it, I guess you ain't going nowhere at the same time. So and luckily I love what I do, and seems like that people enjoy it as well, enjoy my sets and my music. So yeah, I'm so grateful for that.
Hey, and you touched on you aren't where you want to be yet. Where do you see yourself being, or what do you see yourself accomplishing within the next 5 years?
Man, I wanna get more music out there. I want to get definitely more music out there, and I want to get to perform and around the world. Basically, there's so many countries that I haven't been yet, and that will be an honor. So yeah, I want to get better at what I do. I want to make good music, and I want to get to perform it around the world. That will be a good accomplishment, and I know that that can happen. It's all about the work. Going back to, the previous topic. So yeah, clearly traveling the world and spread my music will be my accomplishment. Will be my one of my goals for the next 5 years.
Hey,
So yeah.
you did release Riding High. What was it like creating that?
Riding High, I made that song during lockdown. I was in the UK. We couldn't do anything because like everything was closed. So I came up with the instrumental, and then I sent it out to a bunch of like artists, but they never got back to me. Like, or eventually I got some demos back, but I didn't like their vocals or I didn't like what they wrote. So I was like, what am I gonna do with this record? Eventually, I found an a cappella online by Quantic Soul Orchestra. This is like a jazzy record. So, and I took that a cappella and I merged it. I merged it together, and I was like, oh, actually, it works. So eventually, I finished the record, and then I sent it to the record label, New State Music, sorry. And they liked it. We got the rights, and eventually we put it up. That's the story. Yeah. So it's been doing okay. It's been doing okay. He's got over 100,000 plays on Spotify and on across other platforms as well. So yeah, it's seems like that people enjoy it. I get compliments, so it's very like makes me feel good about it. It's a very happy song, I guess. It's like pop dancey. It's got that summery vibe. As a matter of fact, we released it in July, and it was fun. It was fun. Yeah.
So what do you got coming in the next few months?
What have I got coming in the next few months? I have another bunch of songs that are nearly ready. I don't want to spoil the titles. I don't want to spoil anything, but I got some music coming up, which is pretty cool. I got a few summer residencies here in the UK and possibly abroad as well, which I'm not gonna spoil yet. I'm gonna be announcing these dates probably in the next month. So yeah, I have, I'm also doing some gigs on the low, meaning that I don't promote anything, but I'm still like out there hustling and playing gigs, in small clubs or little venues or bars or anything. Because this is what I do for a living. So you gotta get out there somehow. And yeah, to be fair, I'm really like concentrated on finishing more music clearly. Because right now I just got one song out, and I want to get more music out. Hopefully, people are gonna like them records. And yeah.
So everyone out there listening, make sure you tune in to Mddiction's page and make sure you check him out, because not only do you have some good music coming out, but you have to be there to see him live, because the music does so much, but if you see him perform live, it's a game changer. So all the listeners out there, make sure you check it out. And where can our listeners find you at?
Boy, you can find me anywhere, like Instagram, Facebook, or Spotify, and on other platforms as well. So everywhere. Mddiction or Mddiction.
That and everyone out there listening, you got to check it out, because you don't want to be tardy to the party. You don't want to be like, you don't want to try to get tickets once the tickets are sold out. So everyone out there, go check it out. Make sure that you go follow him. And if there's someone out there, an artist out there or a DJ out there who just is looking for words of advice, what's something that you would tell them?
Keep hustling and never give up, because you're gonna get you'll get rejected a lot. You'll get a lot of rejections, and not everything will go as you plan, or nobody's gonna give you anything in life. You got to work for it. So keep hustling. Even if you get rejections, don't give up. Keep doing what you're doing, and eventually you'll get there.
Thank you for being a part of the podcast.
Man, I appreciate it. Thank you for having me on it. Hey guys, this is Mddiction, and you're listening to the Love of It podcast.